welcome back to my channel. I am Ashley, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys some tips for new providers. So I know that I have some new providers that are watching my YouTube videos, and I do get messages all the time from new providers like, oh, I'm just opening up my daycare, is there any advice you want to give me, or any advice that you can give me? And I just thought that I would sit down and do a video for you guys. I do have 4 tips specifically that I'm going to be talking to you guys about in today's video. I do have more tips, I do have more advice, but I'm going to start off with 4. If you guys like this video, we'll continue and do some more tips. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first tip that I have is never give out your social security number. Nobody really talks about this, but I think that we need to talk about that. Now, whenever it comes tax time at the end of the year, I give them my EIN and I give them a breakdown of their tuition chart. So if you guys watch my tuition chart video, you guys know what my tuition chart looks like. If you didn't, I will have the video linked above. Go check it out. It's basically the form that I give to the parents at the end of the year that has like what they paid me for the entire year, and my EIN is on it. I don't know how you get an EIN. I actually told my accountant that I was opening a business, I needed an LLC, and he gave me my EIN and he did everything for me. I don't know how you get it. You might want to research that, but you need an EIN, and that's the only numbers that you're going to be giving these parents. I even have parents where I give them my EIN and they still said that they needed my social security number, and I was almost about to give it to a parent, and then I spoke to my accountant, and my accountant said no, they don't need it. You have your EIN and that's all that they need. So I almost made the biggest mistake in giving them my social, and that wasn't the only parent that has done it. I've had various parents ask me for my social security number, and I'm not gonna give it to them, and I don't think that you should either. If you're doing everything through a business and you have your LLC and your EIN, I would highly just suggest give them your EIN. Do not give them your social security number. And I never had that guidance when I first started my business. I didn't have anybody that I can ask, but I'm just letting you guys know, do not give out your social security number if you're a new provider and they're asking for it. Next thing that I have is do not take a loan to start out this business. Don't do it, guys. There's no need to take a loan out to start an in-home daycare. I really do feel like this is something that I wanted to mention to all of you new providers, because when we think of a business in general, we always think it's expensive. To start a business is expensive. Daycare is one of those businesses where you do not need a lot of capital to start this business. You can get a lot of things from the thrift store. You can get a lot of things from people that their kids are growing up and they no longer need anything anymore, and they're not gonna have any more kids. They'll give you high chairs, they'll give you pack and plays, they'll give you toys. There's always a cheaper way to do a lot of the things. Now, the most expensive purchases that I did when I first started my daycare was my tables, chairs, cots, and I think that's pretty much it. All of the toys, all of the pack and plays, all of the storage, all of that stuff I got used. I didn't buy any of that new, and I didn't take out a loan when I first started my daycare. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. I know that when you're starting an in-home daycare, there's a lot that you got going on. You gotta find a place to set up. You gotta make sure that it's allowed in your neighborhood. You have to make sure that you're ready. You got your curriculum, you have your handbook, you have a lot of things to do. And sometimes you might think that you gotta take out a loan to be able to make your daycare look presentable. You don't need to. I have a video on how to start your daycare with under $500. You guys can check that out. There's just a lot of things that you can do the cheaper way, and not being cheap like you don't care about your business and you're doing it like taking shortcuts. It's really not that expensive. So I just highly recommend watching that video that I did talk about, and don't take out a loan to start this business, because again, the stuff that we need to run this business isn't that expensive. Like if you were opening up a barber shop, or if you were opening up a restaurant, like this is something simple, and I really do think that you can get away with opening up without taking out a loan. The next thing that I have on my list for new providers is to join daycare Facebook groups. So when I first started doing daycare, I didn't have anybody that I can ask for advice for certain things, and I found myself on Facebook one day and that popped up as a suggestion, like daycare provider group. I joined it, and anytime I have any concerns or have any problems, we go to that group and we go ahead and we talk with other providers. So I think that if you guys are a new provider, go into a Facebook group. We all go through the same thing. If you guys are in a daycare Facebook group, I'm pretty sure a lot of the statuses or posts that you see people going through, it's something that you've either gone through or something similar. So I think that joining Facebook groups is really good for new providers. You can ask questions. The social security question that I told you guys about in the beginning, I've had people post about that in the daycare group, and I said, no, if you have an EIN, give it to them. So there's a lot of people that are on there. I think the daycare groups that I'm in two. One has like 11,000 followers or members, and then the other one has like 8,000. So if you ask a question, you're gonna get an answer. And we can all relate to each other, and I feel like it's good to have people that are in the same boat as you to ask advice for, because sometimes I'll ask my mom for advice, or I'll ask my sister for advice, and the advice that they want to give me, I don't really feel like is the right advice, but to ask, because they're not like daycare providers and they don't know exactly what I'm going through. But when I ask other daycare providers, I feel like they can relate to me and they've gone through the same situation and they can give me a little bit more guidance. So I highly suggest joining Facebook groups. And then the last tip that I have is to work hard on and spend a lot of time on developing a great handbook and ask providers for help. So you guys have already heard me say this a million times. Your handbook is very important. Following the things that are in your handbook are also very important. If you guys want a successful program, you guys need to have a really good handbook, because I'm telling you, when the people see that we're located in our home and this is very homey, they're gonna think that they can do a lot of things and step on your toes and all of that stuff. But when they see that you have a handbook and it's structured and you're following those policies, they're not gonna wanna mess around with you, if that makes any sense. So if you guys are a new daycare provider, get a good handbook, spend a lot of time on that handbook, talk to other people, talk to the daycare providers on your Facebook groups and ask them about anything that they would recommend you adding in your daycare handbook. I do also have a video on my channel where I go through every policy and why that policy is in the book. I give you guys a lot of scenarios so that it's realistic and so it's relatable, so you can understand why I have things in my handbook. I don't have anything in my handbook that doesn't have a purpose. Everything in my handbook is there for a reason, and I'm still adding to that handbook, if that makes any sense. So those are the tips that I have for new providers. I really hope that this video was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you guys haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video.